Hey, this week is PARSHAS BEHAR, and this Parsha, this week's Torah portion, primarily discusses many mitzvahs that God commanded us to do. Among them is the mitzvah, the commandment of Shemitah, that every 7th year we leave the fields fallow in Israel, and the mitzvah of Yovel, the commandment of Yovel. Every 50th year we don't work the land. We have a commandment of not charging interest. The mitzvah of Shabbat is brought down in this week's portion. I heard a very interesting story with regards to keeping Torah commandments. There was a young Torah scholar who one time approached the Chofetz Chaim, Rabbi Meir Kagan, and he told him, I was learning the Zohar, which was authored by Rav Shimon Bar Yochai, whose anniversary of his death we celebrated this past Thursday. And he wrote the Zohar, the mystics of the Torah, and in it he writes that we need to do mitzvahs with our purest intentions, for only with the purest of thoughts will God accept those mitzvahs. So this young Torah scholar came to Rabbi Kagan and he said, I'm really scared. None of my mitzvahs are going to be accepted by God. None of the good things, the good deeds that I've done is going to be accepted by God. I'm just depressed. I don't know what to do. So the Chofetz Chaim said, I'm going to give you some inspiration from a story that happened with me recently. I told him this was before World War I. I had met a baker, a Jewish fellow friend who's a baker. And I asked him, how's business going? And he told me, it's really not going very well. I stay up the whole night, pounding out the dough, kneading the dough, forming it into the different loaves. And then comes the next day, and people come into the bakery and they're very nitpicky. They look at this roll and they're like, it's overbaked. They look at the other roll, it's underbaked. They look at the other roll, it's not formed properly. I don't end up selling most of my rolls. Business is really bad. It's not going very well. So the Chofetz Chaim sympathized with him and gave him a blessing that business should go better. A few years later, during World War I, the Chofetz Chaim meets the same baker. And he asks him, how's business going? And he says, it's really going incredible. Everyone's on ration cards right now. There's a very limited supply of breads. Everyone comes in, they take whatever they find. They don't care. Underbaked, overbaked, not formed properly, not the prettiest shape. They take anything. Says Rabbi Kagan to this young Torah scholar, back in the days, in the Zohar's days, everyone was studying, everybody was learning, everyone was doing good deeds. So in Shemayim, in heaven, they were nitpicky. They only took the ones with the purest thoughts. But in today's day, not so many people are doing good deeds and learning Torah. So they're not nitpicky. They'll take whatever they can get. So every word of Torah, every good deed you do, they'll grab it. I think it's an incredible lesson for us to just learn that extra minute, do that extra good deed. They're going to grab it in heaven. So Shabbat Shalom from Sloan's Lake.